And the coronavirus is actually spreading inside Duval County Jail right now. This time last week, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office only reported 20 inmates who had tested positive for COVID-19. That number has now reached a total of 178 cases, up 37 from yesterday. The percent positive rate is 6.1%. JSO says all of the nearly 3,000 inmates across the county have been tested, aside from 12 who have refused. And on your sides, Kaylee Tracy is joining us live tonight outside the jail downtown. And Kaylee, there's now another push to reduce the jail population.
Yeah, Anthony, the Public Defender's Office says it has been working closely with the state attorney's office to review all cases and potentially release non-violent offenders. It's similar to something that took place in March, all due to COVID-19 concerns. JSO initially said that the outbreak was contained to the pretrial detention center here downtown. We've asked them since this spike in positive cases if the virus has spread to the other two facilities and have not yet heard back. That initial outbreak stems from a contracted medical provider who tested positive and exposed inmates and employees. Now, inmates affected were quarantined and treated by the health service provider, but a defense attorney tells me following CDC guidelines is not always as easy in a jail.
One of the key parts to I guess flattening the curve is social distancing, washing your hands, basic hygiene. Some of those things just can't be accomplished in a jail environment because of the close quarters that all these inmates are in. They can't social distance.
We also asked JSO about the number of employees who have tested positive. Last week it was 2, and employees, it's not mandatory for them to be tested. We are still waiting on an answer for that as well. Now, also happening tomorrow, according to the Public Defender's Office, the appearances for the inmates will be waived. That is in an effort to try to keep them where they are in the facilities, not to move them around. Before, they had been appearing through video chat, but again, those appearances will be waived. That is starting tomorrow. Now, tonight at 11, we'll tell you how this could affect the taxpayer. But for now, reporting live outside JSO, Kaylee Tracy, First Coast News on your side.